All right. What is up, friends? It's time for another week of Map 5. We've got Dividing joining us today as Phil is still sick. Get well soon, Phil. Welcome. I've also got Billy and Ocean here. Billy's having some internet issues, so we're just using a still frame, but he is here, I think. Billy, are you here?
I am here.
Yay!
Hi. You have no evidence. You have no evidence to show. Even him speaking, it could just be pre-recorded. So he actually might not be here. This could just be a pre-recorded episode.
It's actually pre-recorded.
It is
my responses to your real-time observations are pre-recorded because I am just that good of a prognosticator.
This is actually Phil using a Billy soundboard.
Right.
I think you should just come in with something like an answer that did not relate to what Ocean was saying at all, so it actually sounded pre-recorded. You know, you're like, yes,
that's what I was trying to get.
On this Monday,
what 7+3 was, and then
that's a great observation about Phil.
Exactly. Speaking of, Dividing always seems to come in to fill in for Phil. I'm not sure that Phil and Dividing are not the same people.
I think
I've never seen them at the same time. I'm just saying.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Considering Dividing looks like 5'1" and Phil is 6'12", well, that doesn't make sense. 7 foot.
He's 6'15".
I'm sorry. I give at least 5'3" vibes. Oh, you gotta give me at least 5'3".
Oh my God! Short gang, rise up.
I'm short as well, but what I'm saying is there is a massive difference, and I can confirm. Having seen Phil in person multiple times, he doesn't give off Dividing vibes. I think they're not the same person.
I don't know. I think they're just very clever.
And I'm taller than Phil.
I think they're both very clever in the way.
I can't verify that, yo. I can't verify that though.
Dividing is just.
It is true though.
It
just makes the disguise that much better. Right?
Exactly.
They're so convincing.
You got it.
Very convincing indeed. All right.
Ooh.
I suppose we should actually talk about things, but Ocean, what was that? Well,
I was going to say,
did you have something you wanted to add, or were you talking about milkshakes,
proof.
or what do you want to talk about here before we actually talk
right,
Overwatch?
Okay, dividing. To prove that you and Phil are not the same person.
Yeah.
What was the first thing that you said to me, if you are Phil, in Anaheim?
What's up, short guy?
No, he didn't say anything. He ran over to me, picked me up, and started twirling me around. I was like, okay.
See, but it's all just a clever ruse. Dividing he's not going to give it away if, the disguise is that good. He's not just going to, automatically, give you the correct answers so that we all know that they're the same person.
I'm just saying that
you're all nerds. You're all short.
Yeah, there's some Overwatch. We haven't had much happen over the past couple of weeks, but the things that have happened have been pretty impactful and eventful, right? Some pretty big things have been announced.
Billy, we may be short, but at least we move our mouths when we talk, okay? I'm just saying.
Hey, listen here. We can animate my face kind of like what is it, South Park with the Canadians, since I'm Canadian. We could just do the South Park animation for my jaw.
I'm not your friend, pal.
I'm not your pal, guy.
All right. Anyway, Ocean's right. We should probably talk about Overwatch. I suppose.
Fine.
You're first.
I know. I don't have to worry about lower thirds this week. I'm not going to worry about lower thirds anymore. I'll just throw up something general down there. And if there's something funny I think of, I'll throw it up there. But I forget about the lower thirds too much. So, it just ends up being off topic and weird. And I was trying to do too much at once. So I'm just going to not worry about that. What I am going to worry about is this tournament we had over the weekend. This was pretty awesome. Ride of the Valkyries from Skiesti. Hosted by Skiesi, I guess I should say. This was fantastic. It was a tournament with Mercy required on each team, and also Sojourn was banned. So we ended up seeing a lot of Pharah, a lot of Echo. What else? We saw quite a bit of Ashe, some Tracer. It was a really fun tournament.
Yeah, I think what was cool to see is when we were seeing a Mercy Lock tournament, there were a lot of different heroes eligible. I think, to me, what this proves is when not just Lucio as a main support is a good main support, right? I feel like the game will be a lot more healthy. I feel like we get Brig and Mercy up to Lucio's level or Lucio down to their level and tune them to be balanced. I feel like we'll have a really healthy Overwatch 2.
Replace damage boost with speed boost?
No, I just mean in the sense of, having those three balanced together.
No, I know what you mean. I was just saying, we've seen a lot of complaint about damage boosts on the socials lately. Like, just give her a green beam instead. Or maybe she should have a green beam as well. How awesome would that be? She has.
But the blue beam's really cool. It looks cool. I gotta keep it. And look,
I think a green beam would look awesome. Like, dial down the damage boost of blue beam and then give her a green beam.
But we can't let everyone has a speed buddy boosting cooldown now.
I know. Facts. Well, if you want everybody to be at Lucio's level, like that's.
I think we just tune Lucio down. I've been talking to a couple of coaches, and they all think that we should just nerf Lucio to the ground just for a little bit.
Speed OP. This was an interesting tournament. The streamer team actually beat out the team of contenders players.
I mean, they did have Yazin though.
And Aspen. I think most important.
Aspen. And Yido, I think everyone knows Yido in these little tournaments shows up. He's a good player. I would like to actually see him give a go. I think he would be around a top tier 3 player. Yido.
He's played for OD teams before, has he not?
Mm-hmm.
I'm fairly confident he has.
Yeah, but he's always got good results in these streamer tournaments. I think he'd be a top. If he consistently went at it for a good 4 to 5 months, I reckon he'd be a top tier 3 player.
Wasn't Yeedle on Old Man Strength when that team was around? That's a team that was always so good in third-party tournaments, but in open division they just could never quite make it.
He played for Old Man Strength, Saints, Dark Mode, Noble, and Garfield Gaming apparently.
I mean, in the current.
But you're not kidding. And Old Man Strength actually took first in OD back in 2019. But
I think he would be around the top tier.
One of the streamer showdowns. A couple of third place finishes, a second place finish for Open Division in I think that was 2020. No, that was 2019 as well.
Yeah. I think he's a solid player. I thought he played really well. I thought he created a lot of space. And just kind of let Yazin and Aspen cook. And I also think Aspen was a really good choice for this tournament. I know a lot of other teams were just kind of getting Mercy Mains on Twitter who are fairly good at the hero.
Right.
But having it someone really consistent was a good choice.
I mean, let's talk about some of the other divisions. I mean, we had Rizzard Entertainment. That was Leg Day's team. They actually did pretty well in their division as well. Made it to the second day. I think they went out a little bit earlier than maybe they would have wanted to, but they also faced a sus team on day number 1. There was talk about that. Yeah.
There's drama around that actually.
There's a ton of drama around it.
Twitter drama, smurfing drama. I've had my share of that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they were looking at the profiles. They're like, these people shouldn't be in our division.
Yeah.
It was like GMs and top 500s.
Was there any other individuals that impressed anybody? Because I thought Default was a really good hit scam on day 1.
I thought Default did great.
Yeah. Just a couple of surprise names. Anyone else have any other names that they saw play well?
Who was Default playing
Give me
for?
just a second, I'll tell you.
Sorry?
Who was Default playing for?
Default was playing for I Need Healing because he got pocketed by Aline at the end on Colosseum.
Ah, okay.
That was a good game. I was very shocked to see that team win and do well. I actually thought Sawhill's team was going to get the better of that game.
I mean, Rise Up Academy's Glocky's team was pretty damn good when we had them on stream. I was really impressed with them. That was from the Celestial division.
Yeah, Rank Up Academy.
Rank Up Academy, that's what I mean. Yeah. They were really good.
Actually, as Rank Up Academy, I think Nather has a thing called Rank Up. Something like that. Yeah, boot camps on demand coaching guides. I think that's done by Nather. Is that any related?
They were saying in the interview that Awkward was their coach, and they were in Awkward's Discord, and they put the team together because the entirety of RUA Glockies was support mains.
Okay.
They are all top 500.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out where if there was any relation there.
I don't know.
I
All I
got
know
it.
is that it was a damn good tournament.
It was a damn
Yeah.
good tournament, and we were talking
Yeah, it's
like
fun.
when we interviewed Vamps, like it was everybody on that team, it was like their first time competing ever in any kind of tournament.
Yep.
Just cool stuff like that where it's like giving people a chance. They all came from console. Didn't know about CGL. But they were like, hey, this is our first time in an actual competition. And I mean, I think stuff like that is
super cool.
really neat. I think it's it's really
where I
important
think
for our
these
community.
community events have their place. I kind of actually struggle with the concept of community events that aren't like hyper competitive, because it's just not in my nature to think about what they are. I know before we went live, I was like, but surely this should be done and this should be done, whatever, right? To make the game it's a little bit more competitive and to make the tournament overall more competitive. But I think where these community events actually come into place is somebody finding out about competitive tournaments, playing their first one, actually having a bit of fun, and then getting the motivation to grind and maybe becoming a tier 3 player someday.
Right.
I think that's something I didn't really look at until this weekend, and it's a fairly base concept that maybe I should understand, but that's something that only really came into my brain this weekend, really.
Right.
The fact that it was someone who is a fairly large influencer in the Overwatch space that put it on really helped bring a lot of new eyes to the competitive side of Overwatch that maybe hadn't done it before. So I want to give a shout out to Skiesti and I'm sure the entire team that helped put that event on, because they did an awesome job. And I know that afterwards they've gotten a little bit of bad actors on Twitter that are trying to put them down. I really hope it doesn't discourage them from trying to put on more events like this, because it was a really cool event and I really want to see more of this kind of stuff.
No, and I think it's super important.
Yeah, I mean, they were very involved. Skiesti and her team were in the Discord, in the tournament Discord, telling what they wanted. They had a very clear vision of how they wanted this to be, and I think that was the biggest thing. One of the biggest things that I saw is that they were so involved. It was very positive. But they knew what they wanted.
They knew what they wanted. I mean, I think
it was good.
Yeah, I also do think, of course, like every tournament needs feedback. Every tournament could do things a little bit better.
Oh, sure.
But I think for what the tournament wanted to do, it did very, very well. And Skiesti let me wear a Christmas jumper, so shout outs. Thank you.
That was a cute jumper.
It was the best.
The good luck jumper.
Yes. I mean, other than that, I mean, it was a kudos. It was a 2-day event. And like I said, it was a chance for us to see, not only the top end, but kind of like CGL does. It gives you a chance to look at lesser experienced tiers, or people that just can't climb like me, be able to be on stream. I mean, there was people that they were like, "Oh, we're so nervous," and we get them talking. They're like, "Oh yeah, you're fine," and then it just turns into them being able to talk. And I think that was, something else that was really incredible, is getting to hear the stories, not just of the top players, but of the actual pulse of the community. I think that's something that was really showcased. I want to tap ourselves and the other talent on the shoulder for that, or on the back for that, is that we really, allowed them to describe their Overwatch experience. I think that's what really moved me so much, is that we were getting a chance to see the lesser players, how much this means to them. And I mean, Jeff, you took the best example of Vamps. I mean, they've been playing for 2 years together, and they didn't know about any competitions. They saw this. They made the transition to PC from console, just to play in the tournament, and had a blast. So I mean, this is exactly what
just to play in the tournament. They had made that switch prior to this, but
right.
It was.
I mean, to me, that's what this is all about for me. I mean, there's a lot more of us than there are top 500s in the Overwatch universe.
There's 500 of them. Actually, there's not even, because there's lots of duplicate accounts in there.
Right.
Truth.
But I mean, even with that, yes, I think it's extremely important that all levels of skill ranges get to compete and get to have that competitive environment.
Yep.
I think that's awesome.
I think that's what you need for growth. But what my only worry is with these things, and I will say it's worry, is you've got to make sure that at the top of the pedestal is the top of the pedestal.
No, it was very competitive. And
Yep.
No, what I'm saying is we shouldn't okay. We want to highlight let's say these platinum players and gold players who want to improve, and that's good. And then we get more competition and better players. We get a better community and whatever. But I also think it's really important to make sure that tier 3+ is highlighted significantly more, because those players are working every single day 4 hours at least.
I would agree. I would agree.
I would agree with that too.
And
It's
it
not,
was interesting.
It's just a worry. You know what I mean? It's not something that the community's guilty of. Not at all. It's just a worry long term.
I understand. But yes, as I've been trying to say, this was an extremely competitive tournament. It was, we had CJ and Vega were on Timeless Flame, who arguably the best DPS duo or support duo in T2NA. I mean, you could, there's arguments for
you
fixing
say
Rico,
that have been actively together, not like you could craft one. No.
correct. I mean that they have been playing together.
Okay,
Correct.
got you.
Yes.
Got you.
Played for Odyssey for the majority of the year. I guess started on Wisp and then moved over to Odyssey after Side A. And I mean, look at how that team did. So I mean, I think you could definitely put up an argument that CJ and Vega are the best support duo currently, or at least that we saw in 2022. Like you said, we don't know what kind of duos. Maybe they don't even stay on the same team together. Who knows? But they've been playing together for a while.
What I
They
was
seem to be
saying
moving
is
around
you could
together.
maybe craft a better one. I think they're very, very good players, but say if you have a really interesting vision of hey, I think this black support would pair really well with this main support, maybe you could create some really fascinating arguments.
Well,
but
and it also depends on
that's
heroes.
not the point
right?
of what you were saying, right?
Like we've seen.
CJ
No,
and
that was
Vega
not
are
the
very
point of
good
what we were
players.
saying. No.
I was just intrigued.
Yeah, and then the streamer team kind of versus the contender team, I thought was a really cool dynamic. I mean, both the winners finals and the grand finals in the Valkyrie division, which was their highest division, went to map 5s. So
Yeah.
And it wasn't just like your two top contenders teams. Like it was this kind of streamer team with Yasin and Aspen on it. Versus some contenders players that was Bunzira, Clear, and then Vega and CJ. So It was this awesome blend of both. My point being was it kind of had a little bit of everything. We got to see the gold players. We got to see a lot of fun. There was this unique aspect with the Mercy that brought it was a lot of love from that community. They loved it, and then some great competition on the high end. So yeah, I thought it was an awesome tournament.
Yeah.
But anyway. Let's move forward. We spent enough time talking about that. It was really, really well done. Props to Skiesti. Let's move on.
Yep. Moving right along, the European Invitational has started, and it's closed qualifiers as of right now. Giving a little bit of recap, we had 25 teams in the open qualifier that happened in January, in the middle of January. Top 8 from that were invited to the closed qualifiers, and those are Danish Dynamite, German Frogs, Aged and Nasty Russians, France Open Ocean's Team, the team from Ireland. I was in chat today cheering them on. UK Colonization, Italian Chicken Layup, and French Gen Z. So only 2 French teams qualified out of the open qualifiers.
Like there was 20, I think, French teams in there.
There was a ton.
2 qualified and 1 was invited. French Legacy was invited.
Yeah. No, out of
So
the
there's
open
3
qualifiers,
French
like
teams
20
in the
players
qualifiers.
just in
Yeah.
open. It was
Right.
ridiculous.
So yeah, looking at where we're at now, today was day number 1 of the closed qualifiers, and I
My
believe
dog just
what is
stole
it?
my shoe. I'll be right back.
Oh no.
The top
Mine
8 out
now.
of this will be
Paris.
in Paris at Le Grand Rex, which is a very beautiful old theater. Now reclaimed into a space where you can have a lot of stuff going on, but most notably Euros. And I'm kind of putting this on the same tier as like the Euros for soccer or football for the rest of the world.
Like it.
Yeah, it feels like that.
This is a really important event for these European countries, and it's really, really important. I'm actually going to go. I think one thing I want to talk about later on is there's some Danish teams in here. There's an Irish team in here. There's a Finnish team in this event in opens. We will talk about those countries later on, in particular with another subject we have. But this event is really important for these players. Talking and managing the Irish team, really good group of individuals. I will actually talk about them in depth at some point on the podcast.
Sure.
Probably not now. Probably not the wisest because we've got a guest today. But I actually would love to do an episode just talking about them because a lot of them have really high potential and it excites me a lot. One person.
Right. So I
no, I'm
mean,
going to talk about one player in particular. I'm sorry. Look, I get accused of being this gamer a lot, but he's the captain of this team. He reminds me of Anakas. That gamer is not. He is fabulous. He's emotionally intelligent. He puts in every single, it feels like every single minute of his life into practicing and being a better, not even practicing the game, but practicing being a better human and teammate. I love him to bits. Instantly when I chat to him, I'm like, you remind me of Anakas. You're my team captain. Let's go and win things. He's going to be at least top tier 2 someday, easily.
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you were right about Intercast, that's for sure. So when you say something like that, I take notice. So we'll definitely
that
Yeah,
guy in
absolutely.
particular. Look, I get accused of babying him, and you look probably fair, right? But he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant.
Okay, just
You want to know who's? Go ahead.
Oh no, I recovered my shoe. That's all.
Oh, did you?
Okay.
This
I
little
mean-
klepto here decided to run in, just
Wait,
runs into my
yo.
office, snags my slipper, and runs out. Like sneaks in while I'm on podcast, snags my slipper, and runs away. He just
He
tried,
needed numbs.
thought he was being sly, but no.
But is he teething? Is he teething? Is that the
that is a-
problem?
No, should be out of teething. All his baby teeth are gone.
Oh,
so, but
That
yeah.
is a
baby.
guilty face
The
that he has.
Isn't it though?
baby.
Look at this guilty face. Look at.
I can't see it, but
He's gorgeous. He looks like my Toby. I know I've showed you pictures of Toby. They look a lot alike.
He is a handsome boy. I'll give him
But
that.
you want to know
he's-
what's
he's
more
not even
brilliant?
6 months old, so.
I know. I want to talk about open qualifiers, but you want to go first?
I mean, I wasn't going to spend a lot of time on this.
Oh yeah,
I was
just go.
gonna-
Just go.
I mean, if we're talking about brilliant people, I think that you're in your lane right now. You know, you're kind of pushing the spotlight off yourself. You brought this team together, Ocean, and
No,
I mean,
it's not like that.
come
They're
on,
really motivated group.
no, I'm not
No.
allowing this.
They've been on a really
Somebody
good
server
interview.
mute Ethan so I can get this out.
No, Jack. Oh, fine. Go
You
on.
will
No.
take this compliment.
Gosh, I never give you compliments. Take it while it's fresh out of the oven.
Yeah, I got it.
I mean, seeing how they competed today, seeing the Irish fans in Fefe's chat because we didn't have an English broadcast today. I was talking shit in French for the Irish team, and I was giving lots of love to Ocean. And I mean, bringing it together is not a small feat. And regardless of whether you got Grafton or not, you guys, performed today. It wasn't up to what you wanted, no, but you still represented your country proud, and that's all that really fucking matters at the end of the day. You're gonna GG go next and whoop the shit out of some people tomorrow. That's what I'm getting into as far as where we're at in the closed qualifiers. You guys did take 5th in the open qualifiers.
My
you
it
got
opens
yourself here.
was really
It opens.
interesting.
Yeah.
I want to talk about opens actually because there was some really interesting emerging stories. Actually, from the perspective of Ireland and Danish Dynamite in particular, who are in the same group and playing tomorrow. And the reason I've selected it is Danish Dynamite won open qualifiers, but they had to do an epic lower bracket run. They actually lost to us on day one in the winners quarterfinals. They played a really, really good game, have a lot of really passionate people. And I will actually say this. Seeing some interactions with some of the Danish Dynamite players from some of my lads. They haven't interacted with me too much, but in particular, he's a very passionate boy. Got a bit of a liking for him. I hope he plays well tomorrow, but not well enough to beat us. They won the open qualifier. They showed a lot of desire in that open qualifier, and congratulations to them for that. Unfortunately, tomorrow you won't be going to Paris. But other teams to note, the Asian Nazi Russian team, Zhao and Alexei are on that roster from Raspberry Racers. Timo's team did pretty well. French Openel. Good teams in there. Alex 2704's German Frogs played. It was a good competitive open qualifier. And every single team that made it is a good team.
So maybe you mentioned this, but what is at stake here? So how many teams from the closed qualifiers go, and it's going to be a LAN in Paris, right? Like this is a pretty big deal for European Overwatch.
$10,000. But it's not about the prize pool. It's not about the prize pool. And I'm going to talk about a little bit more about this later when we get on to another subject. But for my boys and particularly a lot of the other countries, it's about representing your country.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't have, some of the smaller countries in particular don't have that little bit of hope. They want to support their country. It's about representing your country and also getting the competitive experience with your country online. That's such a big thing for these boys. There's so much pressure on every single one of them. And you know what? Everyone competing in this event is a brave, brave person because there's a lot of pressure on them. And everyone who competing in this event has a lot of my respect. I've been known for saying that the quality of European Overwatch has gone downhill, but this event is really, really special for a number of reasons. There's a lot at stake, and everyone is putting a lot of effort in, and it's been really exciting to watch.
Awesome.
I mean, you're getting your first cap.
It's huge.
Yeah, you're getting your first cap as an international
Pure's got a couple
competitor.
now.
Right, Pure Irish has been there before.
And Zhao's had a couple.
Zhao, yeah, he's had a few.
Zhao's probably getting close to 100.
But
I
for
mean,
a lot of these players, like your point still stands.
Yeah. I mean, Suyo probably has made it there as well. I mean, we're just, this is a chance to highlight the best of European talent, and I think that's what's really going into all of this. Is it's representing your country. Some teams, like the Irish team, only have the one shot. The Sweden the same way. Denmark the same way. So I mean, if you don't have the same population that can support multiple teams trying to get into this, you are your national team at this point. And this is a great warm up for the World Cup coming up with the trials starting next month.
Actually, I'm gonna speak on World Cup quickly.
Yeah,
The
honestly,
teams
I think
that
we
aren't
should probably
World Cup-
switch those two news items because this feeds into World Cup too nicely.
It does, and actually, let's go to World Cup, and then I'll say my point that I was about to make. About European Invitational. I'll just hold on for a second. Can you get World Cup up, and we'll talk about the countries that were invited, and then talk about why this event, why this European
People are
Invitational
angry.
is so important.
Rightfully so.
They could be. I think rightfully so as well. But that's
All
not
right.
my place.
Let's do the broad before we get into the specifics here, because we're going to start diving
Yeah,
into
let's
specifics,
do
and people
that.
aren't going to have any context for what we're talking about. So there's 36 teams that were invited, 3 different regions, the Americas, which is there's American A, America B, includes South America. So you got teams like Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia are invited to this. Puerto Rico, Mexico, and then of course Canada, U.S. Just to name a few. Then your EMEA, EMEC is the way they've labeled it, European and Middle East Conference. Africa, I guess, not really being included here. But
yeah, I mean,
I
just
think that's
Saudi
more,
Arabia.
to be honest.
Yeah, you got
South
Saudi
Africa
Arabia
has a lot of talent, but whatever.
yeah, I think that's a bit of a miss, but that's okay. There's more misses there. That's the details we'll get into. And then so 12 teams from each of these regions, and then of course APAC. And there's a small caveat here because of what's going on in China, where they've lost their Overwatch servers, that China doesn't have to compete in the qualifiers. They get an automatic invite into, what are they calling it? The
Top 16.
World
and
Cup.
yeah, it's one of the top
probably
16
Anaheim.
stages. Yeah.
It's probably going to be in Anaheim. I hope it's in Anaheim. It would be brilliant for them.
I hope it's in Dallas.
I doubt it.
Yeah. With
I
a
can
team
throw
from
my
China
wishes out
securing
there.
one of the top 16 spots to groups. Okay, so they're just calling it group stage. The other 5 slots are being distributed accordingly. Other 15 slots are being distributed accordingly.
Can we
So.
start with APAC, because there's a bit of positivity in there actually.
Yeah, sure. Jump to APAC. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
I think Europe should be last because there's some controversies in North America and Europe that we should talk about in a bit. But I think let's start positively because World Cup's back and we should all be excited about it.
Seriously, for the first time since 2019. I mean, it's been 4 years since we've had a World Cup.
Let's start with APAC Group A, which 3 teams qualify from this group. Ideally, I'm looking at this group and I'm thinking, ideally 3 teams should probably qualify from APAC B. I think APAC A, the first 2 teams are locked. I think South Korea and Japan will go through, and I don't think there's any question mark about that.
Who would you pick for the third?
Oh, fuck, I don't know. Hong Kong, Rec,
Yeah.
Correct.
3K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rec would be a very good.
Thank you, Larry.
I mean, great team player.
I mean,
I don't know
Australia-
because of age though.
Oh shit, is he not 18?
Rec is 17, if I remember correctly.
fuck. Oh, I have no clue who's getting through that group then.
Let me double check my
if
math, but I
they're-
believe that I looked him up when we were doing
We
the
have
Pacific
to, yeah.
Showdown.
Do you have to be 18 to play?
Do we just get the
I
DAF
think
squad for Thailand?
The problem is all of them are underage.
Are they?
They have to be 18.
Rek is 17. He will be 18 by the time that the actual World
Event
Cup
happens.
comes around in fall. His 18th birthday is on August 1st of this year.
Okay, so let's say theoretically you have to be 18. Then APAC's a lot weaker than it probably was.
Here it is. To be an eligible committee candidate or prospective player for the 2023 World Cup, you must be over the age of 18 by October 1st, 23.
Oh my god.
So there you go. So yeah.
The Rek is available.
You do have to be 18 by October 1st of this year. So I mean, there's
Wait,
time for them to turn 18.
Does that mean he can play in the qualifiers if he's not 18 yet, but he will be eligible still? I think that means he can play in qualifiers. Okay, so let's say APAC A, South Korea, Japan, Hong Kong.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a
pretty
pretty
fair.
good guess. That's what we're
I
gonna
would
go
have thrown
with.
out there
Sounds good
just because of other subjects that have gone on in the past couple of weeks with Collegiate, and those stories going on around. There's people out there screaming that they need to do away with the age requirement
For
the
World
World Cup.
For World Cup, I kind of
I can
agree.
see that being fair.
Yeah.
Because I mean, let's go to APAC B because that's where the age gap is going to be really relevant with Thailand. Because
Right.
arguably, I'd
Yeah.
say Thailand can finish first or second in this group without the age requirement. And remember, only 2 teams get through APAC B. APAC B is a lot stronger than APAC A.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you take South Korea out of the equation, then for sure.
Right. I mean, I think
Yeah.
Australia wins easily in APAC B.
I think Australia takes it, but then I think New Zealand's a good team. India will have some good coaches and players. Coming from there'll be some North American players coming to play for India, I reckon.
Yeah.
Um,
I know.
Do you think
Natter's
a
a
cash
coach
plays
as
for
well.
India?
who?
Do you think a cash
Akash
plays for India?
If he wants to play for India and he wants to play on APAC servers, I don't see why not. They've also got potential. I think Pummy, Garchomp might have some sort of Indian. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Garchomp has one of those countries in him. They have some options, India, if they want to bring some NA players over. They could be very, very competitive. New Zealand have a couple of really good players who've played in Australian contenders. Singapore, Akame is a good player. Lumi is a good tank player.
You know who's missing out of this group though is Vietnam, and there's actually a lot of Vietnamese talent that we saw in the Pacific Showdown across various teams.
No Taiwan either. Taiwan has a lot of
Mirror
players.
is Vietnam.
No, they've got that's Chinese Taipei.
Oh, is it? Wait,
Yeah,
why?
that's Taiwan is Chinese Taipei
Why?
because that's their official name.
Okay, my bad.
At least in the sporting world.
Yeah, because
Okay.
politics.
Okay, because
Yeah.
politics. Understood. Actually, they could easily get out of that group too. They've got some very, very good players. Actually, I'm going to change my prediction. As much as I love R3K and Rek, I think Chinese Taipei get out of that group. Yeah.
Man, I mean, you think South Korea, Japan absolutely get through?
There's no way they don't.
Yeah, there's no
Japan
way
are
they
very,
don't.
very good. South
Yeah.
Korea very, very good. There's just no way. Chinese Taipei and Hong Kong will be fighting for that last spot.
Okay.
All right.
I think
I
that's
still-
settled on that.
That's
Group
enough about
B,
APAC.
though.
Let's move forward.
We haven't
Yeah,
finished
let's move
yet.
forward.
Thailand. I didn't even talk about Thailand, Singapore,
We'll get
New
a
Zealand,
chance to delve
India,
into this
Australia.
more in depth. We'll probably make
are
a whole
all good
episode about
teams.
World Cup. This is a news
They're all
item.
good
Let's keep
teams.
moving
Right,
forward.
North America time. Go to North America.
All right.
This one is more interesting.
Now let's start with the caveat here. Let's talk about there's a South American division here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, there's been a lot of controversy over there being a South American division because a lot of the European countries don't think it's competitive. And I kind of agree with them, but also I think it's very important to have a lot of South American countries involved because we need the numbers in terms of viewership, in terms of engagement, in terms of support from South America. But what I think would be really beneficial is bring back South American contenders.
Well, that's
Then you get really big benefits.
That's what I was going to say. Is the reason South America isn't competitive is not their own fault. It's kind of Blizzard's fault for not giving them a place to be competitive, not have a platform to where they could rise up and really steel sharpen steel and create a a healthy competitive scene. If they get that contenders division like you're talking about, I think we could see a rise. And I mean, I think it is extremely important. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I think the South American numbers are great. Have you seen Brazil's numbers in any other esport in terms of engagement?
I mean,
It's
Brazil is a
not.
huge country, so I mean,
It's
It is
massive.
massive engagement.
Yeah.
Team Nip is a great example of that.
Ninja Pajamas is a good example. But what I actually wanted to compare it to is not obviously not in terms of size, but in terms of engagement numbers and percentages. Japan's another really good example.
Yeah.
They're starting to get more in the Japanese market, and you could see the benefits of Overwatch, Pacific Showdown, and other events. The Japanese market's been really, really good for them.
What you were saying was the UGA team? What was their name?
USG.
USG team. Yes, excuse me.
USG's
yeah.
numbers, engagement numbers, are
Donut.
double any other contenders team.
Yeah,
USG
they were huge.
Massive. I think there was rumors of Crazy Raccoon and some other Japanese orgs getting involved.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was
We
a
covered
thing,
that
yeah.
on our last podcast. That Crazy Raccoon
Yeah.
announced an Overwatch team.
Yeah, we haven't announced the roster, and we haven't got a confirmation that we have Pacific Overwatch back. But if we have Crazy Raccoon, that's a big org. I think almost 1 million followers. Big. I mean, look, South America, it's going to be important to have them, but I understand the concerns that people don't think it's competitive because of the previous actions of not having South American contenders.
Well, here's hoping that we get a SA contenders region after this year.
Yeah.
Or
I
even
think,
sometime this year.
Please.
I think the
Yeah.
problem with it is 2 teams get out of that American B group. I think that's a big problem. And also the first group isn't that competitive either. I think it'll just be United States, Canada, Mexico.
Yeah, probably.
I just don't see any way the other regions can beat.
I throw a caveat on that for myself. It depends on the players that have that are of Puerto Rican descent that don't make it to the USA national squad proper.
I think it'll be the same in Mexico though.
Huh?
I think it'll be similar to Mexico.
True, but I think there's more Puerto Ricanos than there are Mexicanos. Because I mean, there's a gigantic Puerto Rican player base here in the States. I've looked at Team USA or Team Puerto Rico, what they're looking for. So I mean, I'm trying to reach out, and that's kind of been my side quest here, is trying to find out who are they recruiting, who are they looking at, and I haven't gotten anything back from Puerto Rico. But I mean, I've talked to a couple of people, and they've kind of thrown some names around. That's tier 3, tier 2.5 scene. So
maybe Puerto Rico challenge Mexico, but I think the top.
Yes, I think that's the only caveat to Group A is the fact that
American
we're looking
B,
at that.
2 teams get out. I think it'll be Brazil, Argentina. I don't see any way.
I think Colombia.
Colombia they also have an esports presence, but Brazil and Argentina have massive esports presence. I think it'd be very tough to beat them.
I think the community in Colombia and it was because of Dryad. Dryad actually turned me on to Team Colombia, and they've got a pretty robust. It's not big, but boy, what they lack in numbers, they definitely have in heart and passion. And I mean, I went across their Twitter page. They're holding tryouts here in the net. If they haven't already happened, it's happening soon. I'll get you something for that.
Happen in March. My OBS Ninja just died. No, it didn't. We good.
You died. I died.
Good. Nice.
That's all I do. Like that's been like my big push right now is like
Shall
going
we
through that.
get into the meat and potatoes, the naughty, and the controversy?
Ooh, okay.
Everyone excited?
I'm ready.
No, but let's do it.
Okay, Bulls Skunk scroll down.
Yep.
Europe and Middle East Conference.
Yikes.
Shall we talk about before we let's talk about the teams that are there first and how competitive they might be. Actually, no, that's not. Let's address the big issue. I've kind of accidentally taken lead on this, but let's address the big issue. Denmark not invited. Let's start with Denmark. There's also a couple of other countries I think should have been invited. Denmark not invited. They could stage a full Overwatch League scene pretty much. What do you think? Let's discuss.
I think that's the biggest snub of all.
They also
yeah.
finished top 6 in the last World Cup.
I also think, I personally, because I do like the Finnish team, I think that's another huge snub. I mean,
It is. We'll talk about that.
how many players can you name from Poland?
Donye, who hasn't played in ages. I can Fikchik. There's one who's tier 3.
Okay. I can name Lethal from Turkey.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Like
honestly, you look at the Danish Mafia team in the European Invitational, and it's like this is a team that can compete. Like if this was just the you got Naga, Doge, Noflungi, Slay, Kellex,
Shockwave. Denmark is the best team in Europe right now, and they're not invited. And you know what's crazy? Denmark's B team, Danish Dynamite, could beat half of these rosters.
Yep.
Yeah, Danish Dynamite is also a pretty solid squad.
Their B team could beat half of these teams. So I don't know what went on there. Finland, by the way, can you talk about Finland not being invited? Vastola, Sauna, Ripper.
Yep.
Dala. I forgot Dala was from. I thought Dala was Swedish.
You can name a fucking top tier 2 team with Finland as well.
Yeah, Cloudy.
I said I wasn't going to swear this episode. I think I just failed.
You've already sworn like 17 times.
Oh, unlucky.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
I mean Vestola's so good. Like that's the Finnish team. Like that's, and there are 4 wild card spots, and we fully expect Denmark and Finland to make it through that. I think Denmark. I think Denmark would be the best team in Europe.
100%. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any. I think Germany will be good.
These aren't all the Danish players. These are just the ones that competed in the Run It Back tournament, the last contenders tournament. But you got Kellex, Melio, Naga, Shockwave, Slay, WeQ, like him and Zapster to round it out. But like that's a strong squad.
As I said, the B team for Denmark could beat most of these teams.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, I bloody hope that wildcard challenge is universal, and you could get more than 2 European teams in there, because I'll tell you right now, 2 of the big snaps, and I'm not just saying that because I'm representing Ireland and I want to be the general manager, and I already am managing the Irish players right now. Is I'm telling you, there's 7 really good, talented players in Ireland competing at a high level right now. We haven't even introduced players like Time, who's eligible for an Irish passport. Really, really good hit scan player who is making a lot of Overwatch content. Ali Isu, who's played in contenders, was on the bench for the Munich team that won at the start of 2022. Graffin hasn't even been integrated into the team. Add those 3 players to the 7 I have, and we go to the A group in that team, and we could beat a majority of them. We could beat Belgium, beat Spain, beat Italy. And I can say that very easily. So I genuinely think Denmark, Finland, us, even Portugal, Switzerland, and Austria are all good teams.
Yeah.
Those 4 teams should be... 4 of those should be invited to World Cup. Very easily.
What's the reason? Do we have any speculation as to why these teams
did it on
weren't
player population.
Was it just population?
But I know they did player population. However, and I'm going to enlist a very important caveat that Blizzard did not take into account. They did not include Northern Ireland for Ireland. And I think if you add the 2 million or so population of Northern Ireland, Ireland's player population is probably higher than Norway's.
I don't know enough about population numbers to be able to...
I would strongly suggest that they didn't even do player population proper for most of these countries, because they don't understand the politics of any of these countries. I would strongly suggest that.
Ethan, are they going to allow Northern Irish players to play for Team Ireland in the Overwatch World Cup? Because technically, Northern Ireland is part of the UK. Is part of Great Britain. Yeah.
So a legal right of being born in Northern Ireland is you're legally an Irish citizen. So if they tried to deny any of that, they could be legally charged.
Very good.
Fair enough.
I was not aware of that. That's why I posed that out there.
One other thing that I think would be a problem for Ireland is, due to Brexit, everyone and their bloody mothers are trying to get Irish passports because they want to be able to travel around Europe with a European passport, right? The delay in being able to get Irish passports and get Irish citizenship is a big worry for Irish players right now. So that's another note I would like to throw in there. Later on, that would be one worry if Ireland did get in. We're trying to scramble to get players' passports because
Right.
of recent political dramas in
Well-
the UK. And also, the UK is in a cost of living crisis. So anyone in the UK who is eligible for an Irish passport, they aren't going to be able to fucking afford one.
Well, despite all of these complications, I'm still very, very much looking forward to World Cup.
Oh yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm just hoping this wildcard challenge they announce.
Yeah. Fingers
Tomorrow,
crossed. It's supposed to
okay.
happen tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the trials will start. Let's see, February 10th through 12th, 17th through 19th.
Yeah,
and
but the
24th
wildcard
through
announcement
26th.
is on the 1st of February, Wednesday.
Yeah, wildcards tomorrow, and then the trials begin will be going on all through February. So like World Cup is underway. Like we are
Yeah.
there. I know a lot of people we know, and a lot of people from the scene have been applying for coaching jobs, social media jobs, all that. And the deadline for that submission ended today. So it's good luck to all of our friends who are looking to be a part of this. There's a lot of talented people that are looking to be a part of this. I think all that will start getting announced here through February. So we're about to start getting a plethora of information about World Cup. Things are really about to start kicking off here. Starting tomorrow. So should be good stuff. Should be good stuff. Despite some of the complications.
I actually
I've got to throw out there,
though.
fuck it, Soman Sue. Fuck it, Soman Sue applied for the community manager position for Team Canada. Yes, let's go. We need that in our life. We need that in our life.
I have 2 more points. The first one is a theoretical way they could actually do this wildcard challenge that I think would be really, really cool. I think what they could do for this wildcard challenge, which they're not going to do, obviously they announced it on Wednesday, they're not going to change their mind. I reckon the 4 invited teams should go to Anaheim or wherever the fuck they do the finals. And
Like they go straight to group stage.
They do 4 groups of 5. And top 3 of each group get to a top 12 bracket. I think that would be a really good format and a really competitive one at that. Because I tell you now, if you take, say, let's say there's 4 teams I think are the best, right? I'd say Austria 4th, Ireland 3rd, Finland 2nd, Denmark 1st. I know those are the 4 best teams that weren't invited out of the 36. You put them in group stages, you've got a competitive group stage.
Sure.
That'd be great content.
You put those 4 in there. As wild cards, so if any of them get out of the group, you've got a massive story, and that's what World Cup's all about. It's all about selling stories and selling to different communities. You put those 4 wild cards in the group stage at the deep end, you've got so much content, so much.
My thing is that Austria, their best qualification, 2018. They took the first out of their group stage. They got beat out by Australia in 2019. 03 to
we can dive in more into detail on World Cup as we do more episodes on World Cup, but let's keep it moving. We're over an hour in and we've done 3 news items.
I have one last point to make, and it's about EIC. Can you quickly flip it back? It's about World Cup and EIC together.
What do you want me to show?
Can you show the teams that are in the European closed qualifier?
Sure. For the European Invitational?
Yes, please.
Sure.
So
Gotcha.
let's then highlight Danish Mafia and Ireland and Danish Dynamite, right? Those 3.
Okay.
Think about how much pressure is on them now to go and get a result because there's no World Cup. I know the my boys are involved, and I know, for example, Danish Mafia are not. Danish
How is
Mafia,
this
but
roster
Danish
not World Cup? I mean, Doge and Molfig with Slay, Kellic, Shockwave, and Naga. Like, how is that roster not in World Cup?
I know. But think about how much pressure is on even those Danish Mafia boys who should go and win this next tournament. Think about how much pressure is on them. If they don't go and win this event, or don't get top 2, or don't get a good result, then people are saying, "Oh yeah, then they weren't right. They shouldn't have been invited to World Cup." That's so much pressure on those lads.
Yeah, fair.
There's so much pressure.
I mean,
I just want to give.
That's half of EXO. I mean, like, there's no way this team just doesn't dominate.
Look, they'll be able to.
For those of you who weren't paying
pressure.
attention to the EU contenders, EXO Oblivion was like hands down, head and shoulders above everybody else in EU all season.
I'm just saying that's a lot of pressure on those boys, and I hope they handle it well, because it's going to be difficult for them. I know I've interviewed Shockwave before. He's a good guy. I hope he's doing all right. And for the Irish boys, I already know it's been tough on them, and they have to go and get a result because this wild card's on Wednesday, right? if they don't say they win tomorrow, they're feeling really good. It's said the wildcard qualifiers the tournament, right? They're feeling really, really good. If they lose tomorrow, and then we get this wildcard qualifier announcement, it could be game over for Irish Overwatch as a whole. There's so much pressure on these boys because of this announcement, and I think it's been done very, very poorly. But that's my personal opinion. I'm really excited to have World Cup back. I'm really excited to see South America and APAC B as groups. I think that's going to be really, really fun. But I wouldn't wouldn't be lying and saying that there are a lot of communities at stake.
Sure. I mean, and obviously you have personal ties to the Irish community, so it means a lot to you. So I understand.
There's a lot of pressure on these boys, and I really hope they can go and get a result tomorrow because it'll lift a huge weight off their shoulders.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to drag us kicking and screaming on to the next topic. Moving forward.
I was about to close it out. We want to go there? Okay. So as everybody has known and heard, Overwatch and Hearthstone and the other game have been shut down.
I mean, it's
in
all
China
Blizzard
because
servers. So
all Blizzard servers gone from China as of the 23rd. I'm sorry, the 24th at midnight, our local time, and we don't know what the future is going to hold. There's lots of mudslinging, name calling, accusations thrown back and forth between the two companies, NetEase and Blizzard. And at the end of the day, we got a picture from Windsor Wu, one of our favorite people on the ground in China, showing that they had completely emptied out of their offices. They were destroying the World of Warcraft hammer in another city, and just sad. I'm sad. It leaves us in limbo. Those of us that were in Chinese contenders, we don't know what's going to happen with the region. I'm just hoping that it gets figured out at some point. Like I said, this is just a horrible situation for the entirety of the Overwatch community. China was such a thriving home for our beloved game and for other games too. But I mean, what's going to happen to the 5 Chinese teams? Who knows at this point?
yeah, it definitely seems up in limbo. They're mentioned in this article. We've seen the free agency window push back multiple times, seemingly last minute due to this. Like, it just appears to be a scramble from Overwatch League, and then it's a separate. Like, yes, they're part of Blizzard, but Overwatch League is kind of a separate entity from like Team 4, and like they don't have direct control over what's going on with this licensing. So I feel like the Overwatch League team is just scrambling to do what they can in a very bad situation to try to make the best of it, to try to keep the competitive integrity and to keep those fans. Like, there's a massive fan base. We're talking about like Brazil and Japan and some of these other countries having huge Overwatch fan bases. China has the largest Overwatch fan base in the world, like, period, full stop. And losing,
and there's some massive Chinese companies that are currently invested in Overwatch League.
Billy.
I mean,
exactly. Billy alone.
Tencent's also up there too. They are a big supporter of the league as well. So I'm just
Tencent support.
I'm flabbergasted.
I know they own Riot.
They do have a. Were they part of Valiant?
Yeah,
were they a sponsor of Valiant?
Oh, is that what it was? They sponsored Valiant? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, so we're everybody from the teams down to us lowly casters are just waiting with bated breath to see what is going to happen in China. So this is, the Chengdu Hunters put out this very cryptic tweet of goodbye and see you again, which left a lot of people wondering, are the Hunters just bailing on the league? Like, there's been rumors that 2 teams are just gonna, or at least one team is just gonna drop their Overwatch League spot, like just forfeit it completely and back out. Like, that rumor's been going around, a bit unsubstantiated, but
I don't think that's gonna happen. And the reason I say that is because I know
I'm not trying to spread rumors. I'm talking. That's not my intention here. My intention is that there's a lot of fear surrounding this.
There is a lot of
fear.
I'm trying to calm the fear by saying that there was a very big organization interested in Overwatch League spot last year. A very big one. Okay. Right. Granted, not at the same franchise price that other people are looking at, right? Are paying. They would just be taking over a current team, right? They'd be buying it from someone else. Kind of like the Outlaws has transferred hands 1 or 2 times, right?
Sure.
So not like a new Overwatch League team, guys. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
Not a new franchise. That's not happening. It's just somebody inquired about a team.
No, it'd be kind of
I just
kind of a rebrand, like we've seen a couple times already here, like from Philly and from Paris, now Vegas. I'm surprised
just hope they get
LA
out.
is still
They
LA, to be honest. The Valiant, that is.
I just want them to throw away their egos that are invested in this situation. I want them to just sit at the table, get it figured out, because right now it's the players and it's the community that's hurting, and they need to really put that at the forefront of their thoughts. Is that you're denying an entire region where the next OWL superstar may come from, and we've completely shut them out. All bickering over dollars and cents, and it just doesn't make sense to me.
All right. Let's move forward. Let's see. All right. So who's got
This is open to everybody.
Nobody took it, so which means nobody started talking. Dividing, you've actually got.
I can sort of.
Yeah, why don't you?
Yeah, sure. I can sort of talk about it. So the main thing about for this news item is just that Collegiate esports is, the engines are starting to rev back up, and we're starting to get back into it for the spring semester. We talked earlier on the show a couple weeks ago about some of the big moves that have been made. Maryville's new roster, some moves made by ISU. But while there has not been an Overwatch Collegiate Championship announced for the spring as of the moment of recording this, it is surely coming imminently. NECC is getting started, and what was linked here was something that Antor on Twitter linked, showing just like every single collegiate league, not just for Overwatch, but for every major collegiate title that is being done right now. It is a massive list of.
That's why I threw it in there.
All of the organizations and all of the games that are getting played in Collegiate right now, and it's all starting up very soon. I mentioned NECC. I think they call it their activation league. That's like a 2-week preseason that they do. That started last week. EGF is getting started up once again. ECAC is revving up to get started. I think NACE Star League announced their groups for this semester pretty soon. So it's all about the start at the same time, and then we're just going to be going from there.
Yep, everything is starting to kick off. I know EGF is starting up, and NECC starts next Thursday for Overwatch. Spring season is here, which means we're about to be busy, friends. We're about to be busy.
I got the shirt, by the way. It's blocked by my microphone, but I'm representing.
Hell yeah!
I dislike you so much because you have that.
Hell yeah! Oh, it's jealous. I'm jealous.
And I love it because it looks good on you. It looks good on you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Billy.
Most of
give you the
Overwatch
love.
is on Thursdays. So if you're wanting to keep up with some collegiate Overwatch, you can follow any of the plethora of these leagues. I cast for EGF and NECC. I know everybody here has a little bit to do with some of these leagues. NACE Star League is a good one. Their Overwatch is on Tuesday, so that's a one to keep an eye out for. But yeah, this is just a great way. I mean, there's a lot of cool names in here, a lot of cool teams that play in these leagues that may not be on the forefront. That's not necessarily ISU or Northwood. And you can really get a sense of kind of the upcoming talent through Collegiate and just how prevalent it's become, and it continues to grow more and more each year. It's incredible to me how much growth we have seen in Collegiate over just the past 2 years alone. So there's a lot of positive stuff in this space.
You mentioned going all the way back to the Skiesti tournament, how cool it is to see not just the contenders level talent, but then also some of the gold talent and some of the mid-level talent. I mean, that's what Collegiate is. It is all over the place. You go from legitimate tier 2 contenders teams to just a couple of people who are in gold and silver who decided to get together and form a little club in their university. And it's really cool. I could talk about it for so long, but Collegiate does a great job at bringing people together, especially in a collegiate environment, which can, sometimes be pretty overwhelming.
Yeah. Well, that's a Yep, that's a great segue into our main topic of the week.
This was our main topic? We're 80 minutes in.
Yeah, I know. The passion for international sport is prevalent here for everybody.
No.
This gets us. This gets us into
It was super cool to see you guys talk about all that stuff. It was.
I'm all about the international competition.
Yeah, same here.
It's great. I'm going to be sporting many flags during the World Cup and during the trials process as well. But main topic of this week is to talk about OWCRA. And you've been a guest on our podcast before, but now you're here in the role of
guest. I think he's kind of one of our rotating hosts.
I've been like a guest host, but now I'm like the guest, which is crazy.
Now you're the interviewee.
Oh no!
I don't know about all.
I'm gonna get interrogated today.
You're just one of our.
All right.
No.
Okay, he's one of our hosts. He's a rotating host. I like that. Yes. But I mean. Talk to us. Tell us what OWCRA is, and then tell us a little bit about you. I know we talked about this before, but tell us what was the genesis of OWCRA.
Yeah, so I guess to do this, you got to kind of go back and talk a little bit about my history with Collegiate Overwatch as a whole, because it's something that I've talked about very minimally over my time in the Overwatch community. Just because doing so would sort of semi-dox me, but I am only about a year removed from graduating from college myself, and I was a huge proponent of Collegiate Overwatch at my university. I was the president of the Overwatch Club at my alma mater for close to 3 years, where I had it kind of grow from what was like a little subsector of a overarching video game club to then forming its own club where it is now running and thriving without me even being there. It's super, super cool. It brings people together. And even for me personally, I met some of my best friends from college through that club. So obviously it has had a massive impact on my life. And then when I started getting into casting, I started being able to cast collegiate events. And then I got to see how on other teams it's changed their lives and helped them out. And that's like, oh, that's really cool. So to say that goes to, I would say about 8 or 9 months ago. I guess I could go back to my YouTube channel and find out. At some point near the end of last season, I decided to make a YouTube video basically doing a top 25 countdown of what I thought the best collegiate teams were in Collegiate Overwatch at that moment. I wanted to do like an AP top 25 ranking kind of thing.
Sure. Everybody loves top 25s, right? Or top anything.
Yeah. It was a pretty well-received video. It was 8 months ago. I was close. It was a pretty well-received video, but it was clearly very flawed because it was just me and my own opinions and from my own perspective on the collegiate environment. And if you go back to that document that Coach Antor put in, there is just so much going on in Collegiate Overwatch all the time. It's impossible to keep up with it all as one person. So I got to thinking and I thought, what if instead of it being just me making the rankings, I got a bunch of people and we all made the rankings together? And that felt a little more reliable than just myself. And so that was the genesis of OWCRA, which is at its core, a group of grassroots collegiate experts who have gotten together to make compiled Overwatch collegiate rankings every month.
How many people are on this committee?
We, as of the start of this semester, so we were down to 12 at the end of the fall semester. We put out a new search for more people, and we got some awesome applicants. We are now up to 21 people who are involved in this. That includes Billy, by the way, who joined. Phil was part of it for the first semester. He ended up deciding to leave, and now Billy has taken the place as the Map 5 rep.
Yeah,
which I appreciate. I appreciate you signing up, Billy.
Yeah, we had Flutie on for our last episode, so and she's a part of that committee as well.
This is true. Flutie is on there. So
head coach for ISU, for those of you, for Illinois State University Redbirds.
a big
context.
thing for OWCRA for me was I wanted to make sure that I was getting a wide variety of perspectives within the community. So we have a decent amount of active collegiate players and like high level collegiate players like Louis. He's been on the podcast a couple times, at least once.
Yeah,
Louis was on there.
UTD.
We have, from UTD. We have Clear from Boise, and of course of Contenders up on there. We also have a lot of coaches. Let me see. I'm going through the list right now. Temporal, who's the coach of Northeastern University, is up on there. You've got some others. I'm just trying to go. I'm trying to go through the list. But the point is, we got players, we've got coaches, we've got a bunch of casters and analysts. We've got some esports directors as well. Like the Paradox Muse, who's the assistant director of Fisher University. So some really high-level people up there, which I'm super glad that they've decided to commit even a little bit of their time to putting in rankings for this. There's a lot of really qualified and really invested people in the collegiate scene who are providing rankings for this project. And it's super cool. It really adds a lot of legitimacy to what we're doing.
Right. So I guess that leans into the next question then. You say that there's 20 plus of us that are on the committee. How are the rankings actually calculated?
Yeah, sure. So I've always been a super big Excel spreadsheet guy. I love making like these big spreadsheets and having all this data and putting. Are you sure
y'all aren't the same person? This just goes back to my original theory that y'all.
We're going all the way back to minute one. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt, but conspiracy theories, tinfoil hat.
This is basically works if you are a fan of American college football and you know like how the AP Top 25 works. This is exactly like that, where every single member of the OWCRA committee, they will submit their own personal top 20 list of the top 20 teams in Collegiate Overwatch at that moment in time. And if they rank a team number 1, that team gets 20 points. And if they rank a team number 2, they get 19 points. And all the way down to a team getting 1 point for being ranked 20th. And then all those points are added up, compiled, put together. And that's how we get our compiled top 20 list.
Yep.
Why is it important?
December list that we're showing on screen right now here. So just to give you an idea of what that looks like.
Yes. So that's what you see. The points below all of the team names. That's where those points come from. I think I've had to answer that question a few times on Twitter because it's tough to know if you don't already like understand how those kind of collegiate ranking systems works.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a good mix between like recognizable names like Rutgers, Ohio State, Utah, University of Washington Huskies. I mean, Boise State, those are big, Division I. If you're thinking about, AP top 25 teams, I mean, those are big names that a lot of, general sports fans will recognize. But the best part of this is the smaller schools like St. Clair out of Canada. I mean, they are on our list here. We've got Bryant and Stratton. They've got a culinary school there. I almost went to culinary school at Bryant and Stratton. So, I mean, there's a mix of big, and then, the smaller schools, and it goes off of results and what people feel about them. That's why I thought this was so important. Now, that leads into my next question. Why is it so important to rank these teams?
Yeah, I think it just goes back to what I was saying before about how massive the collegiate scene is right now. There is something like somewhere between 6 and 8 major providers of collegiate tournaments, like not even including Blizzard themselves with their homecoming and their collegiate champions. There are so many collegiate competitions going on at the same time from semester to semester, and there are hundreds of teams competing. It is so awesome. It's so cool to see all the competitions going on and seeing all these stories get made. It is just impossible to follow. And let's say, for example, you are the parent of one of these collegiate athletes, and they come home sometimes. You call them every once in a while, and they're talking about this Overwatch team that they're on and how they are playing. They're playing with them and they are competing with them. And you mention it sometimes, you want to try to get into it. It is absolutely impossible because there is just no organization between all of the leagues to understand who to follow, what to follow, who's important, what are the major overarching storylines. And that is what OWCRA is trying to do, to be sort of a centralized authority as to which teams are really at the top of the food chain right now. And so anyone who's trying to look at it now has an easy reference of being like, okay, this team is pretty dang good. And that's great context, not just for them, but then for the overarching community. And something that I've actually really enjoyed about doing this that has been sort of a side effect is the actual like community discussion that has happened as a result of these rankings. Not just people being like, oh, my team wasn't on this, but also like people making it a goal for themselves, being like, my goal is to make sure that our team gets on the rankings at some point this semester. Or my team was ranked number 15. I want to get us into the top 10. Like using that to motivate themselves to get better, I think has been awesome.
That is really cool.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of the responses to when you put the rankings out. You see people kind of get pissed.
I mean, it's gonna happen every time.
But it's good. It's
Yeah.
good. It invites the discussion. It invites the collegiate passion. You know, we were talking about, you know, the international sport passion that we were showing earlier in the episode that dominated the first half of this podcast. Collegiate is just as passionate. People want to represent their school, and I think this is a banger. I mean, I think this is absolutely wonderful.
I also want to say real quick is that, you know, as much as I am like lauding OWCRA as being like an authority figure in collegiate Overwatch, I also want to be clear that we are all also just people at the end of the day, and we're not going to rank everything objectively perfect every single time. There are times that OWCRA has as a compilation released rankings that I personally didn't agree with. And I think that has happened for every member of the OWCRA committee. And that's just kind of how it is sometimes. And, you know, I don't want to make it seem like, oh, OWCRA is perfect and we're always going to rank them right, because we probably won't. My God, there was last semester, we didn't rank UC San Diego in the top 20. And then they went on a tear in the collegiate homecoming playoffs. They got like top 6. And we're like, man, we messed that one up.
But that's why it's important to have a committee, and there's good reason for that, and that also in itself creates a cool storyline. You know, for UC San Diego, that kind of flew under literally the entire committee's radar. That includes coaches who are scrimming these teams, who are very intimately knowledgeable of what these teams, you know, what other competitors and the other schools are capable of. San Diego flew under their radar completely, and then came out and had this incredible performance. Like that makes for a good storyline. And so
it does.
And
they were sorry I cut you off, but they were chirping at us on Twitter and saying hey, this is what do you mean we weren't ranked? But you could tell that they took the fact that they were unranked and turned it into fuel for their postseason run, which was really cool.
It takes me back to
sorry, go ahead.
It takes me back to when we have right before March Madness. It takes me to that where you've got the regional and the conference championships, and you've got, you know, the Cinderella team that comes out of nowhere and has a strong run. It gave me chills like that. That's even more of a subplot to your story that's going on. Having, you know, like the San Diego team, they felt disrespected. They felt like they didn't get any love, and then they make this huge run. Yeah, that's why I was so excited when I saw the list or the signups come out to get a chance to be on the committee. I'm like, oh, hell yes, I'm getting up on this. Oh, hell yes.
So, you know what's really cool about that? One, Twitter interactions. Let's go. Sorry.
That's important for the
also,
schools. That's important for the teams.
Yeah, it is. It is. But also, yeah, the story's the key bit, and the motivation's also brilliant. But what I want to highlight is the main talk about how much satisfying that must be for the individual to prove someone wrong. Outside of feel for the team, but as an individual, I mean, I love winning an argument just with these guys. I mean, imagine proving a bunch of people ranking collegiate teams wrong, right? It's fun. It's good for the community. I like it.
We love it.
Apologies,
That's
I
why we
can't
wanted to do an
like-
episode about it. Like, we think this is amazing. And
Thank you.
Collegiate is such an it's an incredible initiative. Definitely applaud you for doing this. And it's Collegiate has become such an important part of this space where we're actually seeing Overwatch League players. Like now it's like, wait, do I go to college instead? Like, is playing Collegiate more viable than playing in the Overwatch League? And part of that's saying something about the Overwatch League, and they kind of need to get their shit together a little bit, not gonna lie. But that also says a lot about how far Collegiate has come.
Also, I mean, if you remember what Flutie said last week, it's also once their professional career is done, and hopefully, the regulations don't go through, the NCAA doesn't decide to regulate esport, because it's a chance. Once they're done with their professional career, they can go back and get a degree.
Yeah.
And do something.
My other thing is
Hold on. Let's back up a point because I want to clarify. I want to clarify this before we skip ahead because the talk was, I mean, in traditional sports, a professional player can't go back and play for a college. LeBron James got drafted right out of high school. Right, it was a big deal. They went and took him right out of high school, and he started playing in the NBA. He was not eligible under NCAA rules to go play for any college team. Now, the difference is LeBron James is still playing basketball 20-some-odd years later. You don't see that in esports. Like, that's not a viable restriction for esports.
Especially in Overwatch. When we're listening to an Overwatch podcast, what's the retirement age? 26, 27 maximum?
Oh, I mean, I'm
in
23.
Other esports, I'm talking about like players like Void. I said maximum. So 26, 27 Void zone, you're thinking, right?
I mean, yeah.
In other esports, you can still farm at 30, right? So in Overwatch, this is an even bigger problem, especially with Overwatch League teams posting age restrictions on tryouts and making sure that, that they can exploit younger talent.
Yeah, and so having a future is just too important. Having a college education where you can have a real career is just way too important.
Why Collegiate is really important in North America right now is half these teams aren't run properly. You can look at at least 10 Overwatch League teams and go, you're not run properly. The reason yes, you can blame the league for a lot of your problems, right? 100% you can blame the league for a lot of your problems and COVID. But I tell you what, reason.
I mean, before we go down that tangent, because I don't want to spend too much time talking about the Overwatch League teams.
The reason Collegiate is so viable is because I would rather, if I'm a player right now, I would rather play on Redbirds than NYXL. Yeah. If I'm a player right now, I would rather play on Redbirds than a lot of these Overwatch League teams because they're incompetent. They don't know how to run. Valiant players still haven't been paid. And that is why I'd rather, at the current moment, unless you're getting a top deal for like Gladiator, Shock, Toronto, etc., I would just stay Collegiate.
And the Collegiate teams are actually run very well. A lot of them are.
Yeah.
And they have backing. Yeah. They have financial backing of these large institutions, which is government money.
And they've got
not just the scholarship, but also in the infrastructure of the college.
Yeah.
Right. What were you saying, Divine?
I mean,
hold. Yeah, I was just saying they've got, the reputation of the college as well to uphold. That doesn't just extend to just gaming, but also extends to them as like a professional institution of education. In the last North American contenders scene semester, we had Redbirds and then also Fishermen, who were basically a collegiate team that ended up going to contenders. I wouldn't be shocked if a few years down the line, like half of the North American contenders scene is collegiate teams.
I mean, there's something to say about collegiate, some collegiate programs. Not any of the major ones we have in Overwatch. I think Maryville, to an extent, is a pretty good program. Fisher's a pretty good program. Redbirds, but some of these college teams might not understand esports fully. It might not have the esports facilities or also the esports knowledge to get these teams up and running and invest the money smartly. And this is a problem in esports all around the globe, not just in collegiate, but when these universities have money just to throw around, I'm a little bit. There's the one slight worry I have about collegiate is some of these monies thrown running in the wrong place, and then you kind of lose a lot of the good identity and stuff that we have right now.
I mean, it's still in an early phase. There's definitely going to be growth.
No. It's just a concern, one of my favorite, obviously.
Yeah, one of my favorite collegiate esports squads is UTD. It's close to home. It's like 10 minutes from my house. And I love those players. And one of the reasons I love this school is because they have done so well. They're consistently in your top 10 for the OWCRA rankings.
Yeah.
This team has like zero backing. Like the school has no clue what they're doing with this squad. They infamously put out an ad for an esports director for one person to run every single title, to coach every single team at the school. Like it's still needs development, let's say, to put it nicely. And yet this team was able to do great things and still be highly competitive without recruiting players. They recruited one player, and that was Petal. Other than that, they didn't recruit anyone. These are all just players who happen to go to the school and love playing Overwatch. But
one thing to add,
there's going to be growing pains, is my point.
Oh yeah, no. My one thing to add is I would rather a team get no backing than have money thrown in really bad directions.
Fair.
Because money is dangerous. Money is extremely dangerous.
All right. Let's steer this back a little bit back on track here. I feel like we kind of tangented.
I was trying to.
We kind of tangented a little bit. Now, I mean, just kind of any further thoughts before we let's just tie this back in and run a show real quick. Dividing, did you have any thoughts just in general on the state of collegiate Overwatch as a whole, kind of incorporating things we've been talking about, or is there something else that you think would be an important factor or important point of discussion?
I mean, I feel like I've kind of gotten most of my general thoughts out there about the state of collegiate Overwatch right now. I think it is thriving. I think it is only growing, and it's only going to continue to grow. People are really only starting to scratch the surface of its use, not only as just like a club that a lot of people would be interested in joining, but also as a really nice recruiting tool. People see gaming and they think, oh, you're at the top of the class when it comes to technology, and you have all these really nice equipment that I could use, and people are attracted to colleges for that, not just for the gaming purposes, and then also as an ability to attract potentially higher performing students, because studies have been done and that students who are involved in gaming clubs at universities have higher than average GPAs. So universities are really, really starting to understand fully the value of having these fleshed out esports programs. It's no longer just a video game club to a lot of places. So it's going to continue to explode, which is why, as that happens, it's really important that we do what we can to try and keep everything organized, because it is going to be very messy for a pretty decent amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, just to confirm what you were talking about, we had Flutie on last episode, as I mentioned. She was bragging about how ISU have an average 3.2 GPA across all of their gaming titles. Like for all of their esports players that participate in their esports program, they have a 3.2 average.
Does that include their B teams?
Yeah, that is all of their teams. That's all of their people that participate in their.
That's a lot of people.
Program.
Considering how many people that is, that's pretty good.
And how much time they spend competing. I guarantee you that can't be said for a lot of these top-end football teams. I promise. It's not.
Oh, yeah, no, 100% not. But I was just trying to get the scale of people, because obviously I wasn't here last week.
Sure. Yeah. The way I understood it, it was the entirety of their esports program. No, I think it was.
Impressive.
Yeah, no, it was the entirety of their esports program, I believe.
I think Flutie said that the Overwatch team had like 3 members that had straight 4.0s.
Yeah, absolutely. Gig being one of them.
That's awesome.
Yep, and she said that I got to practice. Nope, you need to study. And they build time in for the players to study as well. So I mean, that's Flutie really does.
Schools like Northwood on the map. Like Northwood, no one had ever even heard of Northwood basically prior to their esports program, and now they are widely known for that. So, I mean, it can even further their reputation, like Ryan was talking about, to where it's another reason for people to go to that school over another school and grow their program as a whole, not just their esports side, but grow the entire institution.
So I was actually having a conversation with a couple of people, maybe a year or so ago. Not quite, maybe not quite a year, 10 months or so. And you're talking about universities, and they were like, they were genuinely saying if they were thinking about going overseas, and not directly to go to Northwood, but because they've seen the impact Northwood have had on gaming, and they thought it would be a really cool experience to be involved in something not maybe not in esports, but some sort of growth. They felt that going to an American college that's growing would be more exciting than any sort of more beneficial educational British college.
Fair. Right on. That's cool to hear.
It was just a couple of it was a couple people, like it was 3 to 4, and all of them were suggesting that, and every single one of them actually mentioned the name Northwood.
And I think ideally it'd be awesome if the success of U.S. Collegiate Overwatch starts influencing other countries and other regions to where the EU collegiate scene starts blowing up. To where
They've
it
got
starts.
1 or 2 good teams.
Sure,
One or
absolutely.
two.
That's how it starts. That's how it
Portsmouth
starts.
were good previously. Warwick Angels are probably our only real team right now. But Portsmouth Paladins also did well in Rocket League previously. They were at the CRL World thing in Dallas. Portsmouth Paladins. So that's one of the more productive ones. Yeah.
What do you
maybe?
Divide, what are your hopes
maybe.
for the future? What are your hopes for the future of Collegiate Overwatch and how OWCRA will fit into that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that in the future, OWCRA will be respected not just by the overall community, the grassroots community, but also by the schools themselves and the tournament organizers as the sort of central figure in Overwatch for years to come in Collegiate Overwatch. I think it would be really cool if, for example, during a Activision Blizzard stream, to see a little when Illinois State University is playing, for example, if they're still ranked number 1 by OWCRA by then, you see a little number 1 next to their name when they're playing, and they're playing against, say, UT Dallas, and they're ranked number 5, and you see a little number 5 next to them. Like, that recognition from the overall community of OWCRA as a centralized ranking figure, that would be super awesome. I think,
cool.
and that would be a really, it would, not only would it legitimize OWCRA as an institution, but then it would also be a really great tool for anyone in the community to then go to OWCRA and kind of have a bit more understanding of what's going on.
Yeah, I have one hope for Collegiate Overwatch in the future, right? And this is actually throwing shade. Get rid of these fucking first to 2 series in top 8 events, please. Get rid of first to 2. First to 3, no.
For top 8, I can understand that.
No. We gotta get rid of that first to 2 shit. Sorry.
How do you really feel?
Don't hold back, Osha. Don't hold back.
We were robbed of some very good games last year. Get rid of first to 2. Fuck it. Sorry. Okay, I promise.
If you're trying to do a whole top 8 thing in one day, though, that's a lot of Overwatch.
They're not trying to do it in one day. Homecoming, I think it was. No, it wasn't Homecoming. The last Collegiate event was first to 2 for no reason.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Right, it wasn't about trying to
Overwatch
it wasn't about
Collegiate
endurance
Series
or exhaustion.
2022.
Because I can understand, like, if there's a lot of first to 3, you put too many first to 3 games in one day, and you're just going to burn players out. Like, people are just going to be falling over on their keyboards.
I mean, okay, the first game, right, of this was April 2nd, and they finished on. I think they finished the next week.
I believe you. I believe you.
April 10th. April 10th. We've had 8 days, and we're playing first to 2s. No, sorry, that winds me up. Mac.
All right,
winds me up.
We're running on a little long here, but I do have one final question.
Yes.
2023. All right, so we should be expecting a new ranking system coming out here soon for spring 23.
Yes, we should. Yes, that is very correct. So, as of right now, the plan is actually the entirety of the OWCRA Collegiate Committee has put in their individual rankings. The results have been tabulated. I'm just waiting for the graphic to get put together. So as of right now, the plan is that this Wednesday, February 1st, will be the first OWCRA ranking release of the spring semester. And then the following day, February 2nd, we'll be having our first ever inaugural episode of the OWCRA podcast, where we will be doing sort of what you guys do with the news segments, but obviously hyper focused on the collegiate news.
Sure.
And then, of course, talking about the rankings themselves, discussing them, how we all feel about them, discussing teams that maybe didn't make the cut and what they need to do to get there. There's a lot of really interesting discussions and content that could be happening there. And one of the big things whenever a ranking came out was, can you do a podcast and explain thought process in more detail. So we're giving that to you guys that starting this semester. And for this first episode, I'm going to be there every time. But for this first episode, Billy is also going to be there. So
is it just going to be the two of y'all, or how are you going to handle, like, what kind of guests? Are you going to just be pulling in coaches and other committee members each week? Or
Yes. So the two main hosts, so there's going to be 4 people on the podcast. The way it's going to work is every week it will be myself, and it will be not every week, every month. It's going to be myself, and it's going to be Louis, who are going to be kind of co-hosts, and we're going to be kind of constant presence on the podcast every time. Louis, I got to give a shout out to, by the way, because back when I didn't have like a podcast planned, I didn't have any like cool graphics set up for it, Louis was out here doing like his own personal streams, breaking down the OWCRA rankings from his personal point of view and talking about them. He's done a fantastic job, so I wanted to give him the opportunity to co-host that podcast with me. And the other 2 spots will be filled by 2 other members of the committee. My hope is that
oh,
Uh-oh.
uh-oh. What a cliffhanger.
No.
What a cliffhanger. What is Dividing's hope? What will be the future of OWCRA? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Wait. Oh, how unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
How unfortunate. What terrible luck. Oh, what terrible timing.
That wasn't good, was it? Actually, it was pretty good timing. You think about it, the comedic timing.
Comedic timing, yes.
He blue screened.
Wait, what?
He blue screened. It's up in staff chat. Oh no.
What? Oh
Okay.
no. He'll be right back.
Oh no.
Oh, that's hilarious. That is amazing.
Can we use this time just to have a little chat?
What do you want to chat about, Ocean?
Well, we've got some time. What's everyone's favorite type of ice cream? What do you get? What do you guys get?
I don't eat ice
What do you
cream.
get ice cream?
I'm allergic
Oh,
to
fuck, you're
pancakes.
lactose intolerant.
For me, it is fish food from Ben & Jerry's because it has a caramel swirl in it and little dark chocolate
fishies. If you go to an ice cream shop, what do you get?
Generally, I really like caramel a lot. Caramel is one of my favorite flavors. So
Really?
dulce de leche, dulce de leche ice cream is probably my favorite. Behind that, I'm a big fan of like a cappuccino flavored coffee flavored ice cream. After
Green
that,
tea ice
I'm
cream is
going
really
to
good.
cry.
Pistachio.
Well, I'm going to tell you that, Billy, I know you're a chef and everything, but you're wrong. Because the best ice cream flavor and only acceptable ice cream flavor is vanilla.
Get your pasty white ass out of my culinary gaze.
Green tea ice cream for the win.
What?
But
green tea ice
you're
cream.
Who wants a
intolerant.
grassy flavored ice cream?
It tastes
One?
like chocolate, man. It doesn't taste like grass.
Wait,
What are you talking
one?
about? Have you never had green tea
I've
ice
had
cream?
I've
Billy,
had
Billy,
green tea ice cream. It's
Billy, I know
disgusting. It tastes like
Billy,
grass.
I know we disagree right now.
Oh, you had the
Wait.
wrong green tea ice cream.
But can we go after
What
Jeff
if
right
I-
now? Because 1, he's lactose intolerant and shouldn't have an opinion on this, and 2, he's wrong.
Oh, green tea.
I mean,
ice
you're
cream's
wrong for
delicious.
going for the
No,
boring
no,
flavor.
Billy, we're on the same team now. But Jeff, no. Welcome back to Dividing.
What? I literally, okay, my computer blue screened. I'm so sorry. I
You
restart,
cliffhangered
I
us
come,
so bad.
I restart, I come back in 60 seconds, and you're arguing about ice cream? How does this happen?
Welcome to map 5, my friend.
Okay.
Have
Where
you ever
did
watched this
you lose
podcast?
me? Where did
Because
you lose me?
You literally said, and my hopes are, and it
And then you
and it cut out.
froze. You had the most pensive look on your face, like you were talking about world peace and puppy dogs.
It was amazing. It was amazing. All right. Let's finish the conversation because there was a
Yeah.
couple of more hopes for the
I-
podcast.
The Dividing
train-
one.
Yeah, hopes for the pod. My hopes are is that I remember what I was gonna say. My hopes are is that the podcast is always going to have a mix of players and then people who are in other roles on the podcast. So for this one, it's always myself and always Louis. So I'm in there as like always as an analyst, and Louis there always as like a coach / player because he's kind of both for UTD right now.
Right.
And then our guests for this time are going to be Billy, like I mentioned, and then Clear, a player for Boise State. And then those two are going to be flipped around. Those two slots are going to be flipped around from episode to episode, but it's always going to be a mix of different roles and different perspectives on the community, because that's what I think OWCRA is kind of all about.
Yeah, I mean, and Louis, if nobody's ever watched Louis' streams or heard Louis, we had him as a guest at one point.
Louis
Go back and check out that
episodes?
episode. It was a really good episode. Hold on, Ocean. But Louis is extremely articulate and very much has his finger on the pulse of collegiate Overwatch. I think you couldn't have asked for a better person to have as a co-host for this. I'm really looking forward to this. And you said you're doing it monthly? Is that correct?
Yeah, the plan is to have the podcast always the day after rankings are released.
Is that going to be consistent, or is it just kind of vary depending on the situation and then what's going on at the time? Like I know, like one of my questions for this month is, did y'all have any like advanced access on rosters? Do you know exactly what rosters are going to be fielded for spring, like to influence the rankings that's coming out on Wednesday?
There's definitely a little bit there. I don't think there's as much as you'd think there is.
Sure.
Obviously there are people that are very in the know on the collegiate scene. And so there are people who maybe caught wind of some insider information of player pickups and drops before they happened, but it's not quite as big as you'd think it was. I think there are some things and also some people who do know things are genuinely pretty good at not leaking it,
of course,
and not putting it out into the entire.
If you leak information, you're never going to know it again. Like then no one's ever going to trust you, and you're just an asshole. Like so. Yeah. There you go. We've experienced this firsthand.
Yeah, for the most part. Again, I think there are some things that maybe we know in the OWCRA committee like a week or two before it actually ends up getting announced publicly, but for the most part, we're working with the same kind of information that everyone else is.
Got you. And where can people find it? Where can we watch your podcast? I mean, I know, but I want you to tell the people so that people know where to find you.
Yeah. So our Twitter account is just OWCRA. It's OWCRA. Our Twitter handle has a 0 instead of an O because someone took OWCRA somehow. But close enough. It looks close enough. And then, at least for this first episode of the podcast, it'll be streamed live on my personal YouTube channel, Dividing by Zero, the dead YouTube channel. I'm hoping maybe if I put the podcast on there, it'll hit some eyes that it wouldn't have hit otherwise. So that's where the first podcast episode is going to be.
Awesome. And I wanted to clarify that when I said we experienced that firsthand, we've experienced people trusting us with information firsthand. Not that we've leaked stuff firsthand, all right? I just want to clarify. We take a lot of value. We put a lot of value in that trust.
So I don't. But say you want to confess something.
What's that?
I was going to say you're going to confess something there for a second. I thought.
Nope. Just clarify. Just clarify my words so people don't misinterpret.
Oh, no, I did misinterpret. That's what I'm saying. I was really confused. I was like, I definitely haven't said anything.
All right. I think that about wraps it up. Anything else you want to add about your upcoming podcast? First episode's this Thursday?
Yeah, first episode's going to be happening this Thursday. It's going to be really late. It's going to be really late in the evening because, we have a couple of players on there and they don't want to interfere with scrims as much as possible. So sure. It's going to be a really late night podcast, but it should be fun. It should be a good time. Hopefully people aren't too angry at the rankings we released the day before. Obviously first episode of the podcast is always going to be kind of feeling things out, but I think I put out the run of show for the podcast today. I put it together and I think it's going to be a fun time.
You put your run of show together 3 days in advance? Damn it. You are
I am
taking notes.
Okay.
I'm together. I don't know how long it's going to stay like that, but at least for episode 1, I'm together. I'm together on this.
I love it.
I have a question. What item or what how far down the list is ice cream discussion on your run of show?
What's your favorite ice cream?
Yeah, what's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Moose Tracks.
What the fuck is that? I don't even know what that is. What the heck is America? Oh, what is that?
I don't even know. I don't know what that is.
I'll give you my.
It's ice cream with like a chocolate swirl, and then they put mini Reese's cups in it.
Just take chocolate with Reese's in it.
No, it's
No,
not.
Moose
But it's
Tracks
not
is more
that.
fun.
It's called Moose Tracks.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, my third is Neapolitan.
What is that? Is that a type of politician thing?
It's not
It's
Neapolitan.
chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla.
How do you not know
It's
what
all in the
Neapolitan is?
same.
Like, that's a classic. That's like cookies and cream.
No.
It's a classic.
Don't mix things together. It's ice cream.
Yes,
It's
you
one
do.
Flavor.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right.
You eat
well-
potatoes.
Yeah, and potatoes are fucking good.
Oh my goodness. All right. I guess
He's so
that's-
pissed his internet went yonky.
I guess that brings us to our T2 tweet of the week. We didn't really have one, so I'm
Can
just
we do
gonna...
the Metro one?
You want to do the Metro one? All right.
I got the one down at the bottom of the ROS.
Please.
There's one I had from
The
Caitlin.
Metro tweet was fire.
All
The
right,
I
Metro
will
tweet,
admit.
although it puts flack on someone in the community, it's fucking funny.
We'll throw the Metro tweet up there. It's
Oh,
Metro's point of
yes!
view, not our. Metro's opinions are not the same as our opinions, but apparently Ocean thinks this is funny, so we'll throw it in. Where is it?
Really? It's a live channel. Scroll up to 1:13 a.m. my time.
Live
Oh wait, that
channel.
doesn't help you at all, does it?
That does not help me in the slightest, no.
13 a.m. But not a.m. It wouldn't be a.m. for you.
We are so put together. We are the most put together podcast you have ever seen. Hey, at least the lower third was correct all day.
Here, in fairness, right? Just to ego other podcasts. We are on episode 27. OWCRA hasn't even started yet. Get shit on, David.
Dave,
I
don't
mean-
you
Get
say
shit
that.
on.
I
Thank
mean,
you, Pat.
yeah, I guess. OWCRA as an entity has only existed for like 5 months, so I guess that's fair.
Yeah,
But no, 27-0. 27-0 dividing.
this is
You're
not a
getting wrecked,
competition.
Lord.
Don't
You
even
haven't even
set this
scored
up
a
as
point.
We fully support you. Don't listen to Ocean. I will be there Thursday.
We do
in chat.
support you, but you're
There's
like
no
a little
competition
beast
here.
right now.
That's not what
Oh.
it's about. All right. Should we put audio on for this? This looks like it needs audio, or should we just?
Yes.
All right. Let me unmute site. All right. Here you go. Your T2 tweet of the week. I haven't even seen this.
Nor have I.
I don't.
Push forward and take a punch!
Guy's one of the best hogs in the entire game.
Asper is going to push together. Billy just trying to envelop your lane right. Oh, perfect stuff from Funny Astro.
Pushed into a corner here, dropped low, and is taken down. Crane up, finds a huge opener now for Lucio in the backline. FD got certainly not where he wanted to be.
I can't hit him. Lucky.
I have no idea. There's no volume to it, so I have no idea.
I don't know these European Andes, but I know
The
it's good.
Discord stream
Oh, it's
isn't playing
Astro,
sound, but it is on stream.
Professional Overwatch players. Are we pushing up? Yeah, we can nanovize. Do you want to nanovize up here?
Okay. Wait, no.
Who is
There we
Metro?
one's
Some
wired,
soldier
so
ramp,
annoying.
he goes in right.
No, but who is he?
He's
Yo,
a
my
streamer.
professional contenders players are kind
Who?
of trolling, guys. Yeah, my professional
No,
Overwatch
no.
players also kind of trolling. I guess
you're
everyone
missing
is
the
just
whole-
bad nowadays.
Yeah, exactly,
It's time for
exactly.
Overwatch League, guys. What I'm saying is,
Wait, wait,
my
wait, wait,
contenders
wait.
players are amazing.
He says #1 Soldier 76 in every single thing, but he's Masters.
I thought this is
Okay,
Overwatch League players.
so he's a shitter, is what you're saying. As Ethan
never-
would
He's got
say.
12 deaths
Yeah,
in
man.
10 minutes here, and he's just walking into a round.
Yeah. Top level gameplay there, my friend.
Wait till you get to the
I'm gonna ward review
MP,
this game,
oh
and
no.
then I'm gonna ban you. You.
And Alice say,
Because
what are
you
your
have no
players?
insults. This is also gonna be why deaths don't matter. And no, it's not half of my
you
deaths
used to go
me
say-
running into the RAM. It's the RAM being an Overwatch League player or contenders player running into me. Because you don't seem to be very smart. You are a dumbass plat player. Stop pretending like you know how the game works when you're a dog shit
You
player.
run
See,
into
and this is what you don't understand, and that's why you're plat. What's your rank? But I can tell by your messages you're not a good player. You have no clue.
Yeah,
how the game
Ali,
works. Rank 1?
stop pretending like you know it works.
Wow. All right. Well, that's officially the longest T2 tweet of the week we've ever had. That was pretty good, though. It was beautifully edited. You were correct on that. And I love the ending where it's like it just slaps to the rank 1.
and right to 2 minutes 20 seconds too. Chef's kiss on the Twitter video.
Before we go, I've just read our Twitch chat, or not Twitch, sorry, in Twitch, YouTube chat. Juggle God has just said hot pepper ice cream. So candied hot pepper. What is candied hot pepper? Hot peppers, yes, brilliant. We know what that is. That is good. We can put it in food. It makes sense. What is candied hot pepper?
Candied hot peppers is exactly what you think it is. It's a pepper that has been simmered in a sugar syrup to make it candied.
Why?
So it's sweet and
hot
spicy.
Pepper is nice.
It's sweet and spicy.
Blueberry jalapeno.
Because we like things that are multidimensional.
Blueberry jalapeno. That actually sounds amazing. Juggle, that sounds really good.
If I want blueberries,
hey, there's a place near you, Jeff, that has blueberry jalapeno sausages.
And I love blueberry.
Out in Tyler, Texas.
Oh, I'm not driving to Tyler for sausages. Near me, okay. Fair enough.
I'm so upset. I love blueberries. I love jalapenos, but they should not be fucking together. If I want something spicy, and I want something
if you've never had a blueberry jalapeno,
if I like blueberries,
then you're
be like 4 ice cream flavors. All right, that's it. We're out of here. We're done. We're it. We're it. That's it.
Love everybody.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, Dividing. We love your face.
Sorry it took us so long
to
actually get.
Great to be here. Great to talk. Great to talk about all the OWCRA stuff. I love Collegiate Overwatch, man. I bought an overpriced shirt for it, so I'm committed, and I could talk about this stuff forever. But to be clear, overpriced shirt, don't regret a thing.
Fair. No, we really appreciate it, and I think it's so awesome what you've done with this OWCRA. The entire ranking system is just awesome.
Thank you.
It is just so good. It's so good. Looking forward to the podcast, and yeah, I guess that's about it. Does it? So we'll see you when we see you. Bye, friends.
Thanks, Glitch, for the King's Row theme.